What's up, y'all, and welcome to my Wrestle Kingdom 17 review. I'm honestly was almost not really even gonna do this review. I'll just say this: I'm not gonna address much of it right now, but I am going through a very, very hard time right now. I don't want to go over it right here, right now on this thing, but I want to do this review just to at least kind of get it off my mind and do something different for at least for a few minutes, just help out and whatnot. But maybe I'll discuss at another time, but I just want to do this review because I did enjoy this show, and in a way, I didn't want to let it go to waste. So at least it's something to kind of something to take something off my mind and think about something a little bit different just for a few minutes, like I just said earlier, just to help out. But I do want to talk about Wrestle Kingdom 17, live from the Tokyo Dome. Wrestle Kingdom going back to one night. No more 2-night events for Wrestle Kingdom. You know, the crowds can cheer again. International fans can come to the Tokyo Dome from all over the world here in Japan. So, pretty big show it was for Wrestle Kingdom, and a pretty good card too, which I did enjoy this show. Now, did I stay up half the night and watched it? Some of it, and I watched the rest of it this morning. Okay, I didn't stay up the whole night, but I didn't want to stay up for it, given it was Wrestle Kingdom. I don't stay up for a lot of these New Japan shows because it's too late in the night. Now, if this is on the weekend, like it was with Wrestle Kingdom a few years ago, back in 2020, then I would have stayed up the whole night, given it be on the weekend and stuff. But I did stay up for most of the entire show. But like I said, Wrestle Kingdom, I'm kind of glad they went back to the one night format. I didn't mind Wrestle Kingdom being 2 nights, and it worked when it first started because it was a jam packed show. They had so much going on that year, just from the whole 4-way for the double title main event with the IWGP Heavyweight and the Intercontinental title, to Jushin Thunder Liger's retirement, to multiple big stars from different companies coming to New Japan. Like, we saw people from Moxley to Chris Jericho. Should remember Jericho and Tanahashi. That was a big match at the time. So it was a lot going on a few years ago. But given the pandemic really ruined a lot of things, and I would say some of New Japan's decision making, it hadn't been the same Wrestle Kingdom in the past few years and whatnot. Not saying they weren't bad, but without the loud cheering crowds and a half capacity Tokyo Dome, and just once again odd booking decisions in some ways, it was hard to even do a 2-night thing because you couldn't get everybody to travel from different stars, and it looks like they were trying to stretch talent for 2 nights in a row, doing their best, even if they were like double booked for the show. They were like stretching them out and stuff. But with them going back to the 1-night format, which I think it's for the best, I did like this show. It was long. It was a long show. Now, I know we did kick off with some pre-show matches, so I'm not going to stick long on that. One was an exhibition match, a 3-minute exhibition match. We ended up with a draw with Bolton, Oleg, and Ryoe. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry if I mess up the names. This wasn't much of a nice little exhibition, 3 minutes. I know both of them are young lions and stuff, so like I said, it was a draw here, but it was okay. Commentary did have Kevin Kelly, Chris Charlton, and returning Gino Gambino. We haven't seen Gino Gambino in a very long time. He had been on commentary with them for a pretty good while for New Japan. Then he just kind of disappeared, but I think that had to do with the pandemic and stuff. But next was the New Japan Rambo, or basically, it's basically a battle royale, like somewhat of a Royal Rumble, and basically, they got the whole King of the KOPW title now. It was a trophy, but now it is a actual championship belt, which now Shingo Takagi still holds. He's been holding that KOPW thing for a minute now, but if you make it to the final 4, you'll be in a 4-way next night on New Year's Dash. I just know a lot of people in this match was with Sho and Hikuleo and people from Evil, Ishii, Great O'Khan, Jeff Cobb, Air Hanari, Rocky Romero, Doki, Kenta. You haven't seen Kenta in a while. Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Ryusuke Taguchi, TDMK, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols, Yujo Takahashi, Toru Yano, El Phantasmo, Taichi, Shingo Takagi. Like I said, a lot of comedy spots, I'll say that. It's just, I don't know, man. When it comes to these, like, New Japan Battle Royale stuff, I know it's just for Wrestle Kingdom, and everything, but some of it don't be making sense sometimes. By the way, the only way you can win, either you throw your opponent over the top rope or you pin them in this match. And it ended up being the final four, which was Sho, Toriano, Shingo, and Great O'Karn. I forget Great O'Karn is not an RPW, British heavyweight champion. I didn't even know that. I'm like, when did he get that title? I guess he's undefeated in England right now, so um, he's holding that belt all of a sudden. So good for him. But like I said, that whole battle royale, it's just for the pre-show. But even I looked at some of these guys in this match, I felt like they could have made the Wrestle Kingdom card and been doing something a little bit better than this. Also, we had the Antonio Inoki Memorial six-man tag match, which included Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Togi Makabe versus Minoru Suzuki, Tiger Mask, and Tatsumi Fujinami. Like I said, there's not much to say about this match. It was okay. Fujinami doing the dragon screw leg whip and stuff. Got a good pop from the crowd. It ended up with Makabe pinning Tiger Mask. Basically, Tatsumi Fujinami, he got on the mic after and, did, signature Inoki call and whatnot. And telling the fans about Wrestle Kingdom. And I guess it's now going to be making a movie about Inoki soon, which is in the works apparently. So that's going to be really good. But now we actually get to the main show of Wrestle Kingdom. The stage itself looks good. New Japan has always had a great presentation feel to make a lot of things look way bigger than it already does, or just make, their stars look way bigger. And New Japan has always been good in the presentation production department. So it's really no argument about that from there. But I like the stage. I thought the stage was big. I'm not saying it looks extravagant. Some stages have looked pretty good for Wrestle Kingdom. I didn't mind this one. I thought it was pretty big. I know some will compare it to WrestleMania, because Wrestle Kingdom is basically WrestleMania and whatnot, but for New Japan and stuff. But still, it's a nice stage. We did kick it off with the United Empire, Francisco Akira and TJP versus Leo Rush and Yo for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Yo and Leo Rush did win the Super Junior Tag Team tournament last month. So they were guaranteed a title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. Very good opening tag. I enjoyed it. I don't know what happened to Leo Rush's face throughout the match, but man, this guy was bleeding heavily, cut from his right eye and stuff. A lot of great, pretty crazy near falls throughout this match. It ended up with TJP. It's funny, TJP and Leo Rush out there. It's like watching 205 Live almost from a few years ago. So I think that's kind of funny. It ended up with TJP getting a roll up onto Yo inside Cradle to retain the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. I actually thought Leo Rush and Yo was going to win, because I'm like, okay, maybe Leo Rush is going to be sticking around in Japan for a minute, because, when it comes to Leo Rush's track record with companies, I don't think a lot of people trust him. He just kind of in, and he dip out when he want to dip out. Or whatever reason it does, or he'll retire again, or he'll not retire again, and, well, he's back again now, so sometimes I wonder how long will Leo Rush actually stick around in the company and whatnot, but we shall see. But yeah, Francisco and TJP still retain. Next, Kairi Sane went against Tam Nakano for the IWGP Women's Championship. Good match, which obviously was overshadowed, some would say, from Kairi won with the insane elbow. Clean win. Not a bad match at all, but by the way, she had like the pirate, Grim Reaper thing coming to ring too. But it was basically overshadowed by the debut, which the lights went out, and, they had the video on the screen with, like, a Lambo or something, and it was the debut of Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks. Basically, almost it looks the same as Sasha. It's still Sasha at the end of the day, but I'm sorry, I'm going by Mercedes now. Like I thought it was, like, fire blue hair. I thought it was, like, some cheetah print blue hair at first, but she came to the ring, she took her gear off, and then she put Kairi down with some move. I thought she was going for her bank statement move, but she just did. I don't think it was a gory bomb, but like just kind of dropped. It was about to go like some for her arm, but stopped. And basically, she just said she told who she was, and that she challenged Kairi for the title in San Jose on February the 18th, and say you can bank on that, bitch, or bankrupt. So the promo was kind of honestly. I think fans we've been known Sasha was coming to New Japan for a pretty good while now. Do I think it kind of ruined the surprise in a way? Yeah, I think so. Cause like we all known for over a month now that she was gonna be a Wrestle Kingdom and Stardom and whatnot. Do I think this is just Sasha just doing whatever right now until she goes back to the WWE? I don't know. Unless she really shows up at AEW on the 11th, like a lot of people are saying right now, then maybe she doesn't go. But apparently, like she is really done with the WWE right now. Okay, like we always say thank you on Twitter. Apparently, Bailey was in the crowd for support. Obviously, it didn't show her on the screen, but she was in crowd. I heard, but like I said, Mercedes Moné, New Japan, Stardom. I've already said before about her coming, like, it's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to Stardom or New Japan in general, so people will watch it. And like I say, it's someone that's a pretty big name in the WWE, especially a significant name in the women's division and stuff. And I know there's a lot of rumors about payment and stuff, and I've already said this in my end of the year review. Do I think she was worth 100K? Not really. But I had to sit and kind of understand why Stardom would do that. I'm like, okay, it would make sense she would generate business for them, so I can see why they see it. Because when I heard it was kind of comparison to like Jericho's pay when he was starting to come to New Japan, I'm like, that's two different people, and Jericho's a way bigger star than Sasha. Let's not forget that here, people. That's why I say I doubt that they paid her more than Jericho. I seriously doubt that. That's why I said before I didn't think she was worth 100K. All right, but I can understand why Stardom would pay her that amount of money, and everything. So like I said, it'll gain new subscribers, and people will come watch Stardom then, knowing it's someone that's from the WWE and a pretty big name in the western part of the world. So we'll see how Mercedes Moné does, but like I said, her title match will be next month in San Jose against Kairi Sane. Right after that, we did get FTR versus Bishamon of Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto for the IWGP tag team titles. Apparently, I think Cash had just got there like 30 minutes ago because there was like a lot of flight delays, and he just got off the plane and literally got to the Tokyo Dome to defend the tag team belts. This was a good match. Listen, FTR just basically dropped all their tag titles in under the last month. I didn't even see the AAA one, okay? I didn't see that one. I already saw how they dropped the Ring of Honor tag titles. I know they've been taking L's on AEW lately. I don't know who they lost the AAA tag team titles to. I didn't see that, or I didn't even know when. I didn't even know they had dropped them already. But I had figured they were going to be dropping the IWGP tag titles. The match was okay. Okay, and my friend Steven said this. A lot of this first half of the show was a sprint, as in like just get matches going and move on to the next. Like you get in, you get out. So it was a good match. Like FTR were pretty over. I know they hit the Shatter Machine out there, but I think Yoshihashi broke it up. It ended up with Bishamon hitting their like finisher, like the GTR, onto Dax Hardwood for the win. So I didn't watching these guys go against FTR. Did I expect FTR to have some like bigger name opponents to for Wrestle Kingdom? In a way, yeah. I don't mind Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. I know they 2 years in a row as the World Tag League winners, but I actually want to see Aussie Open, and I know they had a match back at the Royal Quest, and I heard that was really great. I didn't watch it, but I heard that was a really great match to watch. I wouldn't mind if they did it again at Wrestle Kingdom and got a little bit more time on there. So, and stuff. So I kind of was hoping it was going to be a bigger match than I expected it to be, but it was still a good match overall. But yeah, FTR has lost all of their titles now at this point. All their titles are now gone. So yes, they've dropped all the belts back to whatever company they won them from. So yeah, FTR has no belts right now. Right after that, we did get Ren Narita versus Zack Sabre Jr., a blonde Zack Sabre Jr. now. Zack Sabre Jr. on his own, as the rest of Suzuki Gun. Suzuki Gun is done. They disbanded about a week or two ago. So what's next for a lot of these guys? Well, we're going to have to find out with one of them, but the whole crew has been disbanded, so now they're looking for their own thing. But yeah, Zack Sabre Jr., a blonde Zack Sabre Jr. now, going against Ren Narita. I thought this match was actually pretty good, maybe because it's a ZSJ match, and his style is different, very submission-based, and I enjoy Zack Sabre Jr.'s matches, and whatnot, but I wasn't surprised he won this in, this the NJPW TV title. So he is now the new TV champion, and he ended up hitting an armbar on, I think, like some armbar submission onto Narita, and immediate tap out. Zach won. Zach was presented a new belt. Next thing you know, TDMK gave him a shirt, and he ended up joining the crew. So Zack Sabre Jr. is now TMDK, Noma Suzuki-gun. And then, I'm not saying he's the leader, but I figured they needed a new member anyways, given that Jonah went back to the WWE now as Bronson Reed. He's not leading TDMK anymore. So Zack Sabre Jr. is now filling in that spot. So yeah, Zack's in a new crew, and he's a new champion now and winning Wrestle Kingdom. So like I said, at least they got him something right now. So got to put these Suzuki-gun guys somewhere since they're on their own now. The group is disbanded, so there you go. But good match for him and Narita, though, overall. Right after that, Karl Anderson went against Tonga for the Never Openweight title. I'm actually surprised they even let Karl Anderson wear his OC shirt out there. Listen, I've already spoke on this whole thing with just WWE and Karl Anderson and just how the whole thing even happened. Because let's remember, this guy was already holding his belt when he went back to the WWE, but then it was like he was supposed to show up on this show, but he didn't show up, and because he had to go to Saudi first, and I thought this partnership was weird, and I spoke on this before. A lot of it did not make sense of where it was going. It's like, okay, so he's still showing up, or is New Japan going to strip the belt from him? But he beat Hikuleo like the month before, and then Tama challenged him for Wrestle Kingdom. The match actually wasn't that bad until the finish. I know they were both building up for the gun stun because that's both of their finishers, but Anderson getting a lot of offense on the Tonga. It ended up with Tama hitting the gun stun that looked really bad. It was bad. That was a bad finish, but they still end up having to go with it, and Tama became the new Never Openweight champion. Good for Tama, too, because, now they kind of more of a single star. I know Tonga Loa is hurt right now, last time I checked, but, we've always known him being a tag team guy, GOD, but for him to get his first ever, well, I wouldn't say is this his first? No, it's not his first ever singles title, because he did win the Never Openweight title months ago. But that fact that he got a singles win in the Tokyo Dome, that's a pretty big thing for Tama Tonga, but I'm not surprised that he won, because, come on, we know Karl Anderson was just there to drop the belt and just go back to WWE and do the whole OC with, AJ and Gallows. Well, AJ's hurt now. He's got a broken ankle, so we don't know when AJ Styles is coming back. But, yeah, him and the Good Brothers there, I have no idea where they're about to go in WWE, but it doesn't. I feel like they're not going to have much for them without AJ being there. But next, right after that match, we had Kenji Muto, or other known as the Great Muta, and his final NJPW match, which he is still on his retirement tour right now. I didn't watch the match, but I know he went against Shinsuke Nakamura on the first Pro Wrestling Noah. Go check that match out. Nakamura's entrance was fucking cold, by the way, which I'm actually surprised he let him do his whole WWE theme out there. So go check that out. Great Muta versus Nakamura. And like I saw a little of the match. I don't know why Nakamura kissed him, and he called him a queer or something in the post-match comments. I thought that was funny. But he was Kenji Muto out there. And it was Kenji Muto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Shota Umino, which, in a way, which commentary was correct. They are like the past, present, and future. With Muto being the past, Tanahashi being the present, and Shooter there, Shota Umino, being the future, as they went against LIJ, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi. Naito's mask looks cold, by the way. Some say it's better than Bray Wyatt's rabbit mask and stuff. Like, go back and look at Naito's mask. It's cold. Honestly, I know a lot of people were pissed about this because they felt like Naito and Tanahashi should have like bigger matches on Wrestle Kingdom, and it almost like they were kind of penciled in at the last second, which, I do agree with that. Naito, I always said like Naito is kind of, he's been away from the title picture for a while, because remember when this guy was the shit like a couple years ago and whatnot, one of the biggest things of wrestling, super over, and then it just kind of just went away after a while, and hasn't really came back to touching gold ever since. And I didn't know he was even going to make the Wrestle Kingdom card and whatnot. But this 6-man tag was good. It wasn't bad. It ended up with what Muto hitting like his shining wizard onto Bushi. Shota ended up getting a pin. I thought it was funny that Tanahashi told Muto, don't do the moonsault. We don't want you hurting yourself, because it's also like Sonata is like, those are like Great Muta is like Sonata, that's his mentor and everything. They were tag partners at one point too, so he learned a lot from Kenji Muto. I remember when they were both in TNA at one point. I remember the Great Sonata from a few years ago in TNA. This was before LIJ Sonata, but remember Great Muta brought Sonata into TNA. I think that was part of Wrestle 1 at the time. Like, go back to that. Like that, it makes you think in a way. So yeah, he did bring him in and train him, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, good match. Muto, Great Muta he's still doing his retirement tour. I think he's supposed to be teaming up with Sting soon, or did that already happen already? I don't know, but because I know they had the Great Muta's final match. This is Kejii Muto. Great Muta's final match was like a month or two ago, and the whole historic Stardom crossover thing for New Japan. But like I said, not a bad match. It was part of retirement tour, so there you go. Now this is where the show actually picked up. Fatal 4-Way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Taiji Ishimori, Hiromu Takahashi, El Desperado, and Master Wato. This was honestly one of my, I would have to call this my best match of night until the double main event, but I enjoyed this match with all four of these guys. I knew they were going to kill it out there. I enjoyed it. This is like one of my favorite matches out of the whole show before the double main event. But I enjoyed this a lot. They did kind of build up that Master Wato was going to win in a way, which I actually kind of thought he was too, that this was going to be his time. But Hiromu ended up hitting the time bomb too and became the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, which, listen, I like Hiromu, but then again, I think they haven't win too much because this guy's got like, 4 Best of Super Juniors under his belt, which I didn't think he needed to win early in the year. They could have given that Desperado or someone, but they decided not to, and like they did. Like, I like Hiromu, and but I feel like they just kind of like they keep going with him on the safe side. I actually thought Wato was gonna win. I'm not even the biggest Wato fan, but I thought him or Desperado was gonna win the junior title. But Hiromu retained the G Heavyweight Championship. But this is like I said, this is what like I said, that's where the show actually picked up. Like this is where the show like picked up big time. I thought it was a little with the TV title, but Fatal 4-Way really kind of I felt like it woke the crowd up. Like I said, I enjoyed this a lot. Just a lot of crazy stuff going on. So very good Fatal 4-Way match. Next, which I honestly think this was the best match of the entire night, and I don't think a lot of people can argue about that, was Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP US Championship. Kenny Omega came out like Sephiroth, basically. Actually had the whole Sephiroth thing because, guy's a big Final Fantasy fan. Don Callis was out there with him also in his entrance. Headed to the ring, which Don Callis was on commentary. So good to see Don Callis and Kevin Kelly back on commentary. Haven't seen him in commentary in a pretty good while. Will Ospreay actually going back to his elevated theme song as he came out with the rest of the United Empire. This was one hell of a match, okay? This was brutal. This was a war out there, okay? These guys beat the living hell out. And I can't name you every spot, but I just enjoyed it, from the turnbuckle being off of the pads to Omega DDTing Ospreay into it, having him busted open out there. Cause I mean DDT'd him onto the exposed turnbuckle about 2 times. Ospreay going for cut off to onto the ropes and stuff. And everything. Catching Omega and damn near crashing and burning to the apron, but still a crazy move though. Omega double stomping Ospreay onto a table, which put a hole through the whole table. He put his feet through, which was brutal, but Ospreay came back and put him onto the broken table. He hit a big corkscrew, looked insane. Ospreay's bleeding out there. Omega's going for the V triggers, which I swear to God, damn it, took Ospreay's head off several times doing that. Okay. But Ospreay's able to get out of it, still going for another Os cutter and whatnot. The near fall, still kicking Omega, trying to take him down. But Omega got him with another DDT onto that exposed turnbuckle. Just like I say, he's bleeding. He's just like heavily bleeding and then even going back to the broken table, smashing Ospreay's head several times, just several times into the table. Let's put a big hole through it. Doctors are checking up on him then, put him back into the ring, and whatnot. I know they try to get onto the top rope, but Ospreay and them knocking him onto, onto the top, off the top rope, then, excuse me, and his nuts on the turnbuckle and stuff. Ospreay still going after him. Excuse me, and whatnot, trying to take him down, but Omega came back with a V-trigger, hit him with another crazy suplex out there, another V-trigger, still did not work. He's just beating the hell out of Ospreay at this point, but Ospreay came back, got him with another Os cutter, trying to go for the Stormbreaker, did not work. Omega tried to go for the One Wing Angel. Ospreay got out of it, hit him with a power bomb, hit him with a Styles Clash, okay, a freaking Styles Clash out there. Still didn't work. Got him with the hidden blade from the back and the front, from the back of his head to the front of his face, taking him down. Tried to hit another Stormbreaker, but Omega got out of it. Omega hit another V-trigger. Ospreay hit back with a hidden blade. As one, I think Omega held on to like Ospreay's wrist then. They start going back and forth, punching each other and whatnot. Just flurry of punches. Omega got him with a big German suplex after that. And he held on to his wrist and everything, just kept holding on to him as Ospreay looked at him and spit at him and said, "Fuck you." And Omega hit the Kamigoye, and then he hit one more One Wing Angel and became a new U.S. champion. This was one hell of a match. And I've said this before many times, okay? Listen, NJPW Omega trumps AEW Omega, okay? This is the match I told, and I said this in the end of the year review. This is the match that I wanted to see. I knew this was going to be a banger, okay? I knew this was going to be a big hit. Anybody could tell you that. It's better than that best of 7 thing they got going on AEW. I've said this before about almost 2-3 years ago now. It's a tale of 2 different Omegas when it comes to New Japan and AEW. Not saying this time as the world champion wasn't bad also in AEW. And he still had some pretty big matches. But when it comes to NJPW Omega, there's a reason why this guy was the shit years ago when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. People had started to watch a lot more New Japan because of him and stuff. But this is, like I say, it's a difference between both. With AEW Mega, and we see a lot of goofball stuff over there. That's what happens when you let his ideas get away on his own. And then JPW, maybe because they somewhat kind of, someone held a leash onto him and whatnot, and it says, no, this is how we gonna book you, okay? You're not gonna go and do this other stuff. You think it's gonna look good, but it's not really gonna look good. And it worked because they had NJPW booking him at the time. But I thought this was a hell of a match with him and Ospreay. And I think the main event was gonna have a hard time, and I mean a hard time to follow. I'm sure people are already putting this up right now as their match of the year, as it is already with Ospreay and Omega. But this is the Kenny Omega that people want to see, okay? Not Spot Fest Omega, not the Elite Omega, not this whole, like I said, not this whole Best of 7 series, which is the same damn match almost every single week. That I don't care. I have not paid attention to the Best of 7 series. No one didn't want a Best of 7 to begin with, okay? They didn't. This is the match I wanted to see, and it delivered. Did I think Ospreay was going to go over Omega? I actually did, so I was actually kind of surprised that Omega actually won the title here. I didn't even expect him to win. I actually thought Ospreay was going to get the big win over Omega and go over, but I guess Omega's going to be bringing a U.S. title back to AEW soil right now until, Will Ospreay gets another hold of Kenny Omega at some point in time. But like I said, this version of Kenny Omega NJPW trumps the AEW version, okay? He's a bigger star when he was here, and it was just him back in the Tokyo Dome. It was good to see him back in New Japan in general. And I'm not even the biggest Omega fan nowadays, but before, I thought this guy was one of the best in the world. I haven't thought that in the past few years. This proved why, once again, he was one of the best a few years ago, especially in New Japan and stuff. So, one hell of a match between Ospreay and Omega. But yeah, I'll take this over the Best of 7 thing any day, okay? Because I have not cared for that Best of 7 series. I don't think a lot of people have themselves also. But I know they paid attention to this. But next was the main event for the IWGP World Title. Jay White, Okada, good match. I enjoyed it. I had a feeling Okada was gonna win anyways, given that he did win the G1 again, and given that a lot of the build was kind of going upon Antonio Inoki of him being his successor, damn near. And they built that a lot, given it New Japan's 50th anniversary and stuff. Did I want Jay White to win? Yes, I did, but I did, but I kind of figured he wasn't going to here because he beat Okada back at Dominion for this title and everything. But I guess NJPW wanted to send, the fans home happy and stuff. So since they wanted to send the fans home happy, I guess that's why they went with Okada. But I guess they went with the safe side and just went with that of him going over Jay White. But still a really good match. Jay White had held on to the belt, didn't want to let it go. He went up to Okada, and I guess he stumbled and said something to him. Maybe it was a sign of respect. They didn't know, but Jay White and Gedo left after that. Shingo Takagi came out and I guess challenging Okada for the title. I forgot what date they said it's going to be, but he wants a shot because he hasn't had a shot since Okada beat him at Wrestle Kingdom last year in the main event of night 1. So Shingo finally wants his rematch against Okada, but Okada basically sent that crowd home happy. He did Inoki's signature, saying and whatnot before going to the back, and basically sent the crowd home happy. So a good main event in general to close the night. In my opinion of the show, I give it a B or maybe a B minus. I think the last 3 matches delivered between the Fatal 4-Way, the U.S. title, and the World title. Those were the 3 to really watch. The U.S. title, I feel, was the best match of the night. That's my opinion of it. The Fatal 4-Way was really good. I going back and watch that. And a good main event between Okada and Jay White. Everything else just kind of came and went by, okay? Of course, we had the debut of Mercedes Mone, which was good, but it could have probably been a better promo. I thought Zack and Narita was a pretty good match, and Zack joined TDMK. But everything else, it was a good opener, but it just kind of came and went by. FTR just basically was just there to drop the tag belt since they dropped every other tag belt recently. I thought that match was okay, but it was almost like, let's just drop the belts and go. Anderson, Tama, Anderson was just there to drop the belt. It was a good match, but that gun starting to end looked really horrible. The 6-man, it was just good to see Great Muta out there. So there you go. So it was a really good Wrestle Kingdom. I really enjoyed it. I want to see what they do with New Year's Dash later on tonight, and we'll see where that goes and what that sets up. Maybe we will see Omega back on New Year's Dash tonight, or Mercedes, or whoever stuck around before they flew back to America, especially, the AEW talent and whatnot, FTR and Omega. Will we see them still on New Japan later on tonight? But I enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom. I thought it was a really good show, and I recommend going back to check out the last 3 matches. If you don't want to watch the whole show, watch the last 3 matches. You will be amazed, and check out the Mercedes Moné debut. But other than that, comment, subscribe. Check out my end of the year review, which is up online right now. Go check that out. But comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.